2 boxers, 1 title, and a fight that lasted more than 7 hours. A battle so extreme that it became history. Andy Bowen and Jack Burke fought for 110 rounds, pushing human endurance beyond anything anyone believed possible. This was not just a boxing match. It was a story of obsession, pride, and the terrifying power of the human will. At around 9 p.m., the 2 lightweight fighters stepped into the ring. They were fighting for the championship and $2,500 in prize money. The rules were simple: 3-minute rounds, 1 minute of rest. Everyone expected the fight to end in 10, maybe 20 rounds. No one imagined what was coming. Round 10, both fighters looked sharp and energetic. Round 20, fatigue started to appear, but neither showed signs of quitting. Round 30, the crowd grew restless. Surely someone would fall soon. Round 40, midnight passed. Spectators began leaving for work the next morning. The fighters kept going. Round 50, movement slowed. Punches weakened. Still, no surrender. Round 60, 2 hours in. Most of the crowd was gone. Round 70, 3 hours passed. Bowen's hands were badly swollen, pain shooting through his arms with every punch. Round 80, Burke's fingers were broken, bleeding, and shattered. The pain was unbearable, yet he kept punching. Round 90, for hours in, neither man could lift his arms above his shoulders. They clung to each other, searching for one final punch. Round 100, 5 hours passed. Some spectators returned from home, shocked that the fight was still happening. The referee watched closely, searching for a reason to stop it. But under the rules of that era, he couldn't, unless someone was knocked out, gave up, or failed to answer the bell. And every time the bell rang, both men stood up. Why did they continue? Even they probably couldn't explain it anymore. The prize money no longer mattered. They knew they'd be lucky to leave the ring with their bodies intact. Pride alone doesn't explain 7 hours of punishment. The truth was simpler and more stubborn. Neither man was willing to be the one who quit. Jack Burke grew up in poverty in Texas. Boxing was his escape. Andy Bowen was fighting in his hometown of New Orleans. He could not quit in front of his people, so they kept fighting, not because they wanted to, but because stopping felt impossible. Round 105. Burke felt something break in his right hand, then his left. Both hands were broken. He kept fighting. Round 108. Bowen could no longer feel his hands. He didn't know if he was punching or just swinging air. He kept fighting. Round 110. After 7 hours and 19 minutes, both men could barely stand. Their faces were unrecognizable. Their bodies moved only on willpower. The referee stepped between them. He declared the fight. No contest. No winner. No loser. It was simply over. Moments later, both fighters collapsed in the ring. Jack Burke's hands were so badly damaged that he couldn't box for months, and he was never the same fighter again. Andy Bowen recovered quickly, but the damage remained. Almost exactly 1 year later, he died in the ring from injuries suffered in another fight. He was only 26 years old. This fight didn't kill him directly, but it took something from him that could never be replaced. To this day, the Bowen vs. Burke fight remains the longest recorded boxing match in history. After this event, boxing organizations introduced new rules: round limits, mandatory rest, medical supervision, so that what Bowen and Burke endured would never happen again. The $2,500 prize, worth about $80,000 today, was split evenly. No victory, no defeat, only history and bodies that never fully healed. What makes a human keep going when every rational voice says stop? It's easy to call it foolishness, to say they should have quit earlier. But there is something in the human spirit that refuses to surrender, that would rather break than bend. That night in New Orleans, two men proved that human endurance can be both inspiring and terrifying. Because sometimes, the line between courage and self-destruction is very thin. 110 rounds. 7 hours and 19 minutes. Two broken men who refused to quit. A record that will never be broken. Not because modern fighters lack toughness, but because boxing learned that some limits exist for a reason.